Alright, what do you guys want to see in the meantime? Now I know, y'all back on y'all Inspector Gadget. Wait, Chris Watts. Oh, this is it right here, 21. 21 minutes, and it's JCS! And it's JCS! 21 minutes, and it's JCS!
Concerned.
Now y'all know I like JCS now. 21 minutes.
The drama began shortly after the Frederick Police Department received a call from Nicole Atkinson, the best friend of Shannon Watts. She had arranged to drive Shannon into town that same day for a pregnancy checkup, but there was no answer when she knocked at the door, nor any response to her text messages or phone calls. After noticing her shoes were still at the front door, she became concerned and called 911.
Nicole?
Yes.
Okay, so what's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
Right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are by the front door.
How you doing? You seen your neighbors today? No? Okay. What's Chris's phone number?
Chris's phone number is...
Hey Chris, Officer Coonrod for the police department.
The story's
Pretty
heavy.
good. So, do you have any
heavy?
idea where your wife is? Right. What my concern is her car's here. They're saying she is diabetic. I don't want her... If she's upstairs and can't respond. Okay. About how far out are you? Okay, alright. He said like 5 minutes.
It's not a sure sign of guilty conduct, yet the fact that Chris made the officer wait for his return would have most likely alerted some minor suspicion. In normal circumstances, a husband receiving a call from the police saying they were concerned about the safety of their pregnant wife and children, in most cases, would have given them permission to immediately kick the door down. It's a truly somber awareness to know that the man stepping out of the car had only a very short time ago dumped his infant daughter's bodies into an oil tank and buried his pregnant wife in a shallow grave.
What? That's Chris? Is this Chris?
Awareness to know that the man stepping out of the car had only a very short time ago dumped his infant daughter's bodies into an oil tank and buried his pregnant wife in a shallow grave.
Scott, how you doing? How's it going? So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
The familiar routine for anyone checking for someone's presence inside a house, whether it be an emergency or otherwise, is to immediately call out to them for instantaneous reassurance. Chris remains silent, but instead feels the need to examine his wife's car before subtly sneaking through the internal garage door. He then disappears for 1 minute and 7 seconds before letting the neighbors and police officer inside. Only Chris will know what he carried out during that time period, but it's safe to assume that his curious behavior was not going unnoticed, made evident by the unsettled gaze of Nicole as he opens the door.
Mind if I come in, Chris?
There were multiple key moments captured from inside the house, which may not have been noticed immediately by the officer, but would have no doubt been gathered by forensics upon further investigation. The most overt peculiarity was Chris's interaction with his...
So why are they searching his house right now? Did somebody make a call? Like, did somebody just think he's suspicious? Oh, she's missing. They're looking for her. Did you watch it? Nigga, this is my first time watching the video.
Phone. The guise of his thumb movement would have given the impression he was texting someone, which would have seemed very peculiar, as the normal response would be to frantically call people rather than text given the circumstances. Hindsight gives us a clearer picture of Chris's introversion, which is that he was most likely using his phone to avoid eye contact and progressive dialogue with the officer.
What time do you leave the day?
What time I leave there?
No, here.
Usually between 5:30 and 6.
Alright. And was Shannon here then?
Yes. Yeah, she's still in bed.
Does she usually watch the kids, or you have daycare watch them? Or?
She usually watches the kids if they're not at school.
Okay. You guys have any kind of issues, marital issues, or?
We're going through a separation.
You are? How's that going?
It's going
Civil for the most part, or?
Civil.
Additionally, we are presented with the subtle cues of Chris's forethought cover story, being that his wife simply ran off with the kids after a breakdown in the marriage.
All the girls' blankies are gone. Their blanket they sleep with, they don't leave anywhere without them.
Good.
It's on the nightstand next to her brother. Picked up hair.
The rest of Chris's conduct could be analyzed and dissected in various ways, and it would be easy to pick at certain oddities in body language and link them with signs of guilt. Yet, without the hindsight we have now, his behavior could just as easily be linked with an innocent man who is understandably concerned and frantic over the disappearance of his family. His very conservant neighbor, however, had the perceptual advantage of knowing Chris on a semi-personal level, and could analyze his kinesics in a far more accurate manner than the police officer.
You just want to go talk to him? I'm going to get his info real quick. No.
Rocking back and forth. He never brings his stuff in and out of the garage ever.
Right.
To be completely honest with you, my wife and I were kind of wondering when she was on vacation if something happened, because I've heard them full out screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, and he gets crazy.
Does he? And that's pretty recently.
Yeah. He doesn't look worried. He looks like he's trying to cover his tracks. He's normally quiet, real subdued. He's over here telling you 3 times what he took out, what he did. He's very, he never talks. So the fact that he's over here blabbing his mouth makes me kind of suspicious.
This was just after the moment he had shown both Chris and the officer his surveillance footage of that same morning, capturing only Chris leaving the house after loading multiple unidentified things into his truck.
Yeah, we can pick up cars coming this way. I get anything coming this way and making this turn. So, and usually at night I pick up the cars pulling the ear trim. So, unless they pulled right here, but I would have caught her walking out.
Although not fully incriminating, as Shannon and the kids could have left through the back entrance, this was an extremely detrimental piece of evidence, and would have no doubt been extolled by forensics and made Chris an immediate prime suspect. The following day, Chris, for some bizarre reason, agreed to be interviewed by 2 separate news stations, where he came across as extremely unimpassioned and detached from the alarming nature of the situation.
Like when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. Like she wasn't here, kids weren't here. I have no idea like where they went. And right now it's you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent. If she wasn't here, like where did she go? Like once I got here, it was like, all right, who can I call? I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, you know, what's going on? Like if she's vanished, like I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. Right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. Last night I wanted that knock on the door. I wanted to see this kid just run in, just barrel rush me and just give me a hug and knock me on the ground. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I'm hoping that somebody sees something or somebody knows something and comes forward. Shanann.
There's no way you just doing an interview this calm, nigga. Kids and wife is missing with no texts, no calls, nobody know where they at. I will be like, yo, if you watching this, babe, come back to the house. Like, yo, this nigga's crazy, bro. Nah.
Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like,
this nigga really acting and shit, dude.
Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
This could have been construed as shock trauma, where a person will turn numb and retreat into themselves as a means of escape. Yet the viewers watching this live from home were probably thinking what we as the retrospective audience already know. He was called in for questioning 4 hours later.
Ooh. Oh, this is when it gets crazy. I love interrogations. I love interrogations.
Alright, let's do this. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows where these kids are. And I keep saying kids, I'm sorry. Your kids in your life. I know you're going through a lot, so we're not going to keep you here all night. Just tell me exactly what you remember, and I'll take notes about where we can go.
Okay. So this 1:48 a.m.
Let me switch chairs. Because when they come knocking...
There's no subtitles.
When they come knocking, I gotta use that key.
One of the oldest and most commonly used techniques is for the interrogator to sit between the door and the suspect. This is for the purpose of heightening the feelings of isolation and dependence. It's an indirect subliminal message, letting Chris know that the only way out of that room is through the detective. It's an excellent tool for stripping away confidence, thus increasing the telling signs and body language when information is fabricated.
ISO!
4 a.m. That's when my alarm goes off for work, and I'm just get dressed, brush my teeth, everything I do upstairs.
Okay.
About 4:15, that's when I get back, slide right into bed next to her, and start having a conversation with her about having the house up for sale, and talking about it, like actually proceeding with the separation.
Okay.
And obviously it gets pretty emotional, like we're talking about, like we felt the disconnection was there, like falling out of love, and trying to stay together, maybe just for the kids' sake, but we're realizing that doing like our homework, it's not, most of the time that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Goes to work, receives call from police, returns home.
So that's when I got home, I opened the garage door.
They're selling. YouTube don't have no subtitles. They're selling.
And we went inside the house and looked everywhere. Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, nowhere to be found. Shannon's wedding ring's on her nightstand, her phone's still on the couch, her purse is still there, the medicine for the kids is still there, the car seat is still there, and there's no sign of them anywhere.
Okay.
K9 unit / news show, police take information. He goes to bed at 10 p.m. Doesn't sleep
I
until
was
2
just
a.m.
hoping that, I mean, left all the lights on in the house, I was hoping that I'd get a knock on the door. But
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah, but nothing happened.
What do you think happened?
Introspection, provocation, truthful, short and direct, untruthful, long and detailed. Carbonara, thanks for the 5 gifted.
At first, I really thought maybe she was just at somebody's house, just decompressing.
What's going on, Steve?
Yeah, but after today, like with...
Chat, are y'all slow? Are you slow?
the onslaught of what's going on, Steve. Yeah, but after today, like with
it's
the
great
onslaught of all the cars, I mean all the police cars, all the news, all the K9 units, it's making me lean the other direction about someone took her.
Okay.
But there's this, if someone took her, it would have to have been someone she knew, because there's no sign of anything like being disturbed, broken.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's the way I'm leaning now. At first I thought for real she was just decompressing somewhere. I mean, I thought she was safe, even though everything in the house was left there. But now it's just after the day with the news crews and everything, it feels more the other direction, and it's freaking me out.
Okay. Discussing Shannon's friend circle, work life, phone history, computer history.
On that night, I woke that morning, early that morning, I told her like the disconnection it's there, like it's not going away. Like the connection we had in the beginning, it's not there anymore. It's like I don't feel like the love we have is there anymore.
Okay.
And it's just like I don't feel like, I mean, if we want to stay together for the kids, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Like bringing
That's
another,
what you told him?
yes.
Okay.
Like having another baby, bringing us into this relationship, do you think this is going to work with us being together? Or separation, I think, is going to be the best possible route for us. And that's when like all the crying and everything proceeded. And it was very hard just to talk about that. But I needed to do it face to face.
Okay.
And I needed to see her face like while I did it. I couldn't text, phone, whatever. I needed to be face to face and be able to see her and know that she was going to be at least reciprocating back to me.
Oh, what did she say?
She said that it was, she wanted to kind of work on it, but if that's the way I was feeling, then she respects that.
Okay. 1 p.m. I'm now on my way home to check on my family. Is that just because you're worried based on the conversation with Nicole? Had the police contact you by then?
No.
Okay. I arrived. Sorry, go ahead.
But Nicole said she was probably going to call the cops.
Okay. All right. Now, so it sounds like Nicole's pretty worried. More worried than you.
Well, so once she couldn't get anything out of her and nothing was going on in the house, I was like, all right, I gotta go home.
The sharp and sudden change of angle from baseline questioning to direct confrontation would normally make an innocent person refute or at least challenge the statement. There would also be a brief pause, as they would need time to process the allegation due to its perplexity.
Keenan with the Alex, you a GOAT. W Alex for the 85 subs.
A guilty individual would already be in a defensive state of mind and would normally respond in a hastily
Alex.
Instead of refuting the remark, they would accept it, but try and explain its actuality in a defensive manner.
But it sounds like Nicole was more worried.
Yeah, because most of if she doesn't text me, I understand that. Sometimes that happens. Okay. But for her not to get back to her direct sales group, that was very unorthodox.
Okay. So then they're at home. Police officers there. Then walk me through that.
So as we go through the house, we're all.
Do you immediately go through the house?
I open the garage door and I just go into the house. I'm looking.
Thank you, Keenan.
I just go in the garage door and I'm looking.
Is the police officer saying, "Hey, let me talk to you for a minute"?
No.
No. Okay. What's the vibe like?
I go up there, shake his hand, but I'm opening the garage door at the same time. I go in the garage door and I just go into the house. I'm looking. I just go in the garage door and I'm looking.
Is the police officer saying, "Hey, let me talk to you for a minute"?
No.
No. Okay. What's the vibe like?
I go up there, shake his hand, but I'm opening the garage door at the same time.
Okay.
And then I go through, and then they're waiting at the front door. I go in, open that up, and then they come in.
Herman with the 10! Thank you.
Okay.
Well, they went in the garage. They didn't come in the way I did.
All right.
Because he shut the door behind them.
Everybody goes in.
I think that was at 4 o'clock. That's when, because the officer went over to the neighbor's house to see if he saw anything. And
whose idea was that?
I think it was the officer, because he just went over there. And then that's when the neighbor called him back over to show him he had some stuff from the other night. Just show him whatever he had and that put motion on it.
Come on, bro, lock in!
And then that's when the neighbor called him back over to show him he had some stuff from the other night.
Over at the surveillance footage.
Just show him whatever he had and that put motion on it.
Okay. 4 p.m. Police check neighbor security footage and question them as well. Okay. Have we talked about that? Is that where we're okay?
That's where we're at.
Anything else about that?
No, it just shows Nicole dropping her off, but her not walking up, and it shows me loading my truck up.
That's over again.
At the time I told you I left.
Okay. Can we talk about something that's kind of hard to talk about?
Cool with the
so
vibes.
when I work investigations like this, I have to keep an open mind on everything. Okay. And part of keeping an open mind is listening to you talk about your wife and your marriage. And the day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord. Okay. So you can understand what I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Implication in the form of a question. What do you think about that?
Makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. I know, I've talked to a few of my friends, this does not look good on you. I'm I know. It's if people knew that we were having marital issues, they're gonna look at me, especially with the way everything looks. It honestly just makes me sick to my stomach because this is something that I would never do. Ever. I know, you have to look at every vantage point. This is something I would never do to my kids or my wife. At all.
He just...
This is what is known as the pause technique. After the suspect answers a question, the interrogator will remain silent while maintaining eye contact. This physical demeanor gives off the subtle cue that he expects more information to be divulged and may already know more than the suspect realizes.
I'm not sure, like, what I could do to make people believe that, just because if they knew we were having marital discord, they would automatically look at me. But
unruly, that's what take it down, unruly, unruly.
My family. At all. I know we were having marital discord, and we had that conversation that morning, and then she goes, we have no idea where she is, or the kids. I promise you that I had nothing to do with any of that.
Cap!
Are you telling me the truth?
I'm telling you the absolute truth.
Why should I believe you?
A truthful individual will normally respond to this question with a question, such as, "Why are you asking me that?" or "What's going on here?" They will often protest the aggressive nature of the inquisition, or give a short and forceful response.
Because I'm a very trustworthy person, and the people that do know me, they know how I'm a calm person. I am not an argumentative person. I am a person who is never going to be abusive or physical in any kind of relationship. I would never harm my kids. I would never harm my wife.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, you can talk to any of my friends.
Watching these videos, you can tell, like, you can apply this to real life and just tell who's lying on simple. Like, you literally can, like, use this, like, in real life. A lot of the shit that happens.
Any of her friends, they know me. They know I'm a low-key guy that's quiet. I'm not about confrontation. I'm not about anything that elevates to that level. I mean, you can, like, if someone like yells at me, screams at me, I just take it.
That's not what your neighbor said, buddy.
Try to get it by the wayside and get it back to where it's just a cool conversation, to where, like, none of that gets to that height. Because I am not that person. I've never been that person.
Okay.
Hold on, chat. Okay, I'm doing after this. Hold on.
Would you take a polygraph?
Sure.
Okay. Let's take a little break.
NASCAR with the 5.
Here, because I have a lot more questions for you. How you feeling?
Looking at that picture,
What is
I know. God.
What is that?
Celeste, she's Rampage. She's always the one that's gung-ho. She's always the one that's just like, she's off. She's either go or sleep. She's always the one growling. She's always been, she's a tiger. Bella, she's the calm, the mothering one. She's the one that's always, you okay? You okay? You fine? Okay. She's just the sweetest little girl. She's the one that favors me more, and Celeste is the one that favors Cenat more.
Kids.
They wore that dress. She just wore that dress not too long ago. I unbuttoned the back of it so I could get her pajamas on. She's like, "No, Daddy, button. I got button. I got button." I'm gonna love those spaghetti strap dresses. She likes long dresses. She was a girly girl.
She was the girly girl. You think he caught that? Oh, that's like saying that you gotta watch back. You think he caught that? I mean, he's a professional. Was? End of part 1. Oh my gosh. Lock in, everybody's been locked.
I need your help.
Subtitles.
When we find the guy who took him, what do you think we should do?
This is what is known as a behavior-provoking question.
Oh my
An innocent
gosh.
person will usually give what is known as a draconian response. They will immediately respond with the harshest sentence possible for the crime they are falsely being accused of committing. A deceptive individual will often give an equivocating response. This means that they will fragmentize and divert from the question to a certain degree as a means to avoid responding to the query in its entirety.
They're gonna come home safe, correct? When you find the guy.
When we find the guy, they're going to come home.
Life in prison would be that's what I would think with 2 kids that are involved.
Rising annotation at the end of the statement seeking approval.
What if he hurt them?
What if he hurt them?
I'm not sure if like that penalty is even.
Bro! Oh my God, it's so easy to read, people. Avoid answering question. Chat. Let me test the chat. Your wife and your kids get taken. What should we do with the title, chat? Chat, what should we do with them? Your wife and your kids got taken. What should we do with the person if we find them? Damn, yeah, see how direct they are? All right, chat. What if they hurt them? What now? What if they hurt them, chat? That shit is automatic, bro. I'm crashing out. Kids and my pregnant wife?
Is it used in Colorado? I'm not even sure what is. The death penalty?
Okay.
I mean, like, if these kids are not alive, like, there's nothing you could do to cope with that, to make me cope with that.
Wait.
I mean, like, if these kids are not alive, like, there's nothing you could do to cope with that.
If these kids are not alive, these kids
to make me cope with that, if those kids are not okay.
Those kids!
Can we keep talking about some complicated things?
Sure.
Some things that are going to make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You've done very good in talking to me about this really hard conversation you guys had. Okay? Very good. That's sometimes hard. And I understand why sometimes someone in your position says, doesn't want to tell me about that. Because please go help me find my kids, and you don't need to know about my marriage argument. Okay? So I got to say, you've done very good at that. And I need you to keep doing that. So I need to ask you about your marriage and infidelity.
Sure.
Okay, tell me about it.
I have never cheated on my wife.
Okay.
And I fully suspect she has never done that to me.
Oh, okay.
The interrogator was already aware that Chris was cheating on his wife with a woman by the name of Nicole Kessinger. He had handed over his phone earlier on this interview for what he thought was for the purpose of going through his and his wife's mutual contacts to look for potential suspects. Judging by Chris's bold-faced denial, it's safe to assume he deleted all of his correspondence with Nicole beforehand. Yet he was most likely unaware that the FBI have programs that can recover every single piece of digital exchange sent from a device, even long after it's deleted.
Highly trained investigator over here, right? I see pictures of you from a few years ago, and I see you standing before me now. Okay, you've gotten pretty fit. Okay, you can imagine when guys start cheating or want to cheat, that's what happens.
Yes.
So tell me about it.
I did not cheat on my wife.
Okay. What do I do to help you walk out of this room and not look like the person who's responsible?
You have to trust me. I had nothing to do with this act of like evil cruelty, whatever has happened here. Because my love for these two girls and my wife, like, I don't want anything to happen to them. I've never wanted anything to happen to them. No matter if me and my wife separate or not, or divorce, or anything.
Kenan!
Harm. Me and my wife happened to them. I've never wanted anything to happen to them.
Kenan, thank you, bro.
No matter if me and my wife separate or not, or divorce, or anything, I never wish harm on anybody, on any human being in general.
Okay.
Like, just seeing that picture, like, I need them, I want them just to run through that front door and just grab me, or just just tackle me, knock me to the floor, my head, I don't care. The amount of love I have for my family is exponential, and it's never gonna die. And I want them back.
Okay.
I have to have them back.
When you walk out of this room,
Mr. Hotspot, thank you so much for the
there's
second
nothing I
thing.
can say to a room full of police officers that's
Thank you.
going to convince them that you have nothing to do with this.
I know.
You know what they think.
I know all that, yeah.
There's a guy who didn't call 911, who woke his wife up at a ridiculous hour because he was so guilty about something that he had to get it off his chest and say, I don't love you anymore, I'm leaving you. That didn't go well. Okay, so what happened?
She told me she wanted me to wake her up before I left. That's why I didn't just wake her up, like, just to tell her this.
Slip the
like,
goal with
I
the 5,
woke
thank you
her
so
up.
much, slip the goal.
That's what she wanted to do, and we talked. Like, usually at 4 a.m. I wake up, I go down and work out. This day, I wanted to talk to her about this.
Yo.
I love these girls.
Pokey with the 5, thank you so much.
I love these girls so much. And this picture right here, Celeste and Bella, those are my life. I helped make those kids.
I helped make those kids.
There's nothing in my life.
Bro, why the f do we keep saying those kids? Like, nigga, just say, bro, the kids are
That
the
means
5.
more to me than these kids.
I am Felice, thanks to the 5. I am Faceless, thanks to the 5.
Nothing. Kids, that's your life. That's your lifeline. That's everything. Like, you make kids, they come first before anything. Kids, spouse, family. That's what it's always been.
Nothing you've told me tonight makes sense. Nothing you've told me tonight feels like the truth. Can we start over?
Sure.
Tonight's been pretty intense, I can imagine. How are you feeling?
I've slept like 2 hours last night, so I'm like running on empty right now, but
I know, I can see it. So why don't I do this? I'm sure you don't mind if we take a break for the night. And I'm sure that you are feeling some of the pressure from me. Okay? I'm going to commit to you that we're not going to stop working until we find them.
okay.
Okay? And I want to commit to you that
I'm father to the 5 thing.
there is going to come a time when you're going to feel this pressure from other people. I'm not the only one who thinks that there's a possibility you have something to do with this.
Like another FBI agent, like pressure, or like just like
Everyone.
okay,
Everyone, Chris.
okay.
The interrogator is clearly receptive to Chris's anxiety and endeavors to amplify this emotion before ending the interview. He wants to inflate Chris's apprehension as much as possible for the looming polygraph test that approaches the following day.
Oh my God.
Tonight when you go home, one of two things is going to happen.
He's gonna search. He's gonna go home. He's gonna search up how to pass a polygraph test tutorial on YouTube. He's gonna search the tutorial up on YouTube of how to do it. But he's gonna understand that he got a lot of anxiety built up with him where he's not gonna know how to do that shit, though.
You're going to pass out because you're so tired. Okay? And that's probably not going to be what
Yeah, I've been there to the 5.
Your head's going to go race. Okay? So tonight when you lay down and your head starts racing, there's going to be things that come to your mind. Okay? This always happens. Always. It's very natural. You're going to say,
Drizzy,
oh, why did he ask me that? Okay? You're going to say, screw him, how dare he accuse me? Okay? You're going to say, I wonder if they thought of this. Okay? And then you're going to say, I probably should have told him something, or this, or that, okay? Those are the most common things. When those thoughts come to your head, I want you to call me. And those are beautiful kids. Those kids have a good dad, and I know it.
I should see the picture, it's on my phone.
Yeah.
It's a better one, but it's just, I'm sorry too, but
those kids have a good dad.
The following discourse from the officer could be construed as the
Cheap money with
reframing
the 5
technique,
gifted.
where an interrogator will try and shift the suspect's view of themselves from negative to positive, as a means to lightening the iniquity of their crimes and increasing the chances of a confession. However, this is more likely
That
what is
boy's
known
praying
as
with the 5.
passive accusation, where the interrogator is almost certain of the suspect's guilt and indirectly accuses, and in some manner, indignifies the suspect. This is made evident by the high praises the officer gives to Chris for extremely trivial deeds.
A lot of dads don't get second pairs of clothes and cook eggs
Yeah, I've been with the
and
5.
give them snacks at night. You know, a lot of men, that's woman's work, right?
I like to get involved.
But you're not that kind of guy. Okay. So can we say that tomorrow at 11 o'clock
Yeah,
we can do a polygraph?
here.
Here. I appreciate you coming in tonight.
Mhm.
All right, give me a few minutes. This is Tammy. Did you meet Tammy yesterday?
No,
11 a.m. the next day.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Sit on this?
Yep, I know. I'll explain what that is here in a little bit, but you don't have to worry. It's not on or anything right now. It's not gonna buzz you or anything. Obviously, you're probably nervous about taking today's test. Honestly, I would think something is wrong with you if you weren't nervous about coming in here to take a polygraph. Even if people are like, I don't have anything to hide, it is nerve-wracking. And I have taken tons of polygraphs. Obviously, in my training, I went to 10 weeks for training.
Hey, thank you to
I've been
5.
a soldier for about 5 years. I went to the best school in the country, so I want you to have confidence in the fact that if you had nothing to do with this disappearance, like, we're going to find that out today, okay? I have the best training that they offer in the United States. We use the most validated testing. That's the way I'm going to ask you the questions, so believe me, if you had nothing to do with this, I will be able to show them that today.
This is psychological pressure
my
disguised
gosh.
as reassurance. It's not a routine procedure during the pre-test phase of a polygraph exam, yet this technique will be used when the suspect's guilt
that's
is
a
almost
5.
conclusive. Polygraphs are not a foolproof system, and they can be
Him.
beaten, but with a heightened state of anxiety, it becomes considerably more challenging and unlikely. On this occasion, the polygrapher distinctly applies this technique for maximal effect.
There's actually only 2 ways you can fail a polygraph, okay? The first way would be if you fail to follow my instructions. I'm going to give you a lot of instructions today about how to sit still, how to answer questions, things like that. So if you fail to follow those instructions, you will not pass today's test, okay? The second way would be if you choose to lie to me today. You know, if you did have something to do with their disappearance, it would be really stupid for you to come in and take a polygraph today.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it would be really dumb. Like, you should not be here right now sitting in this chair if you had anything to do with Cenat and the little girl's disappearance, okay?
But yeah, everything flourished from there. Like in 2011, I proposed
Young
to
bird,
her
it's for 5.
over in Ocean Isle Beach.
Oh my gosh.
And and she was sitting there crying with a little picture notice, and she recorded it. It was an amazing day just to see that. And then she left. I was there. Like, she had a midwife for this one, so like they actually had me like, you can stand here and like, you know, catch her, and like, but Celeste came out like so fast that like I barely had a chance to go like this, and they moved me out of the way because she just like came out.
The polygrapher will also obtain the examinee's version of the facts regarding the specific issues under investigation.
Like, I was just hoping that I would get that knock on the door, or a phone call, or a text. I mean, her phone. I mean, they have her phone. Like, hopefully, maybe it's a number I don't know. Hopefully, it's like, you know, like a burner phone, or some kind of like phone she bought, and she could just text me and call me like, hey, I'm okay. Something. Or just get a knock on the door.
Could have bought it with the 5.
I miss like the kids like sitting at the dinner table and like having to tell them to eat their dinner, and like I miss them throwing their chicken nuggets at me. Like, I just want to find them. I want them to come home safe, like wherever they are, I hope they are safe. And I really hope they can just come home. It makes me feel like, all right, maybe somebody has her that's not keeping her safe. Or something terrible has happened. And that's the nightmare.
And what would that terrible thing be?
If somebody hurt them.
Chris recounts a brief summary of the events and states multiple vague possibilities for his family's disappearance.
Oh
the
my
polygrapher then starts to elect specific timelines for Chris to give his account on.
DeMarcus, thank you so much for
You
the
said the
5.
next thing you know,
Big booty, thanks for the 5.
Is that right?
I felt her get in bed. We didn't say anything because I just kind of felt it.
Okay. Do you know if she was on her phone or like how any of that works?
I don't think she was on her phone.
Was she mad at all?
I mean, crying like she was, crying like I was. I mean, yeah, I mean, she was upset. But I mean, it comes with that kind of conversation.
In the next moments, you will see another subterfuge of psychological pressure, this time disguised as routine questioning procedure.
And I know it's totally awful to think about, but what are ways, because I need to make sure that you know what I'm talking about, what are ways that you can make someone disappear?
I mean, like, if you're talking about like what I've seen like on the movies, or like how people, if you read about other people, I mean, you hire somebody.
Like a hitman?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
No, that's what I want. That's what I want, because I want you to go through all of these scenarios in your head, because I want you to know for sure what I'm talking about when I say that, you know, asking you if you physically caused her disappearance.
Okay, like you'd hire somebody, or you have somebody you know that
Betty logo
that
with
would
the
do it.
10.
I mean, it's like I mean, it's hard. It's
And
a
I
hard
know
question.
this, and I know this stuff,
It's a hard
but,
question to answer
right.
because it had nothing to do with this disappearance.
Right.
But like, I don't even want to think about like if you're asking me like how I would do it. Like
No, anyone. Like how
anyone
would anyone cause someone else's disappearance?
I mean, you would. I said like.
You could cause someone's disappearance by murdering them. Would
Yes.
you agree with that?
Yes.
So what different physical ways could you cause someone's disappearance through murder? You could stab someone,
Stab
right?
someone, shoot someone, hit them with a blunt object.
He strangled his wife and he smotheration for the.
What is there? I mean, use a weapon like gun or a knife. I mean,
Okay.
you could.
You could smother someone.
Smother someone.
You could smother someone.
Smother someone.
You could strangle someone.
Hang someone. I mean, yeah, you can. All
Did they find him?
that kind of things. I mean, it's hard to even think about that kind of stuff right now.
Mods, pin,
You could
sexy's on the
strangle
way.
someone. You could drown someone.
Yeah.
You could shock someone to death.
They found them!
You could burn someone alive. What other ways can you think of?
As far as like lure them into a trap, I guess.
What do you mean? What?
Like, you know, like have somebody waiting like around the corner and like, you know, hey,
Sure.
Final answer is hit by a car, kidnapped, locked in a room, poisoned, beaten into a coma.
they're in a coma.
Sure. So if I ask you that question on the test, Chris, are you going to have any issue with that? About you
Like-
physically causing
Going
someone's
through every single one of
disappearance?
those.
Yeah, like that would be a way you
Okay.
could cause someone's disappearance.
Okay. No, I can definitely like I can pass. I mean,
Or you could murder them, you could kidnap them, you could take them to another country, you could, you know, bury them in your backyard.
Yeah.
You could do a million things
yeah,
as far as trying to conceal them,
yeah,
right? So that no one can find them.
yes,
Because at this point, she's gone. So when I ask you the question on the test, I'm not asking you about guilt. I'm not asking you about Did you make her feel so horrible that she ended up leaving? I'm saying that you were the one that physically caused her to disappear.
Okay.
Either by murder, kidnapping, you know, all of those other things that we went through, okay?
You want me to list all those? Like,
No.
Oh,
You're
okay.
just going to say no to that question.
Okay.
Right. When I ask you if you physically caused Shanann's disappearance,
Okay.
your answer should be what?
No.
Right. So do you have any issues with that at all, and
No.
have any question about what I would mean when I was
No,
would be
that's
asking
total,
that
like,
question?
I just, like, going through all those that, that's
Right.
a lot to really think about.
Right.
Like,
that's-
trying to figure out, like, that was,
I'm going to have you take a bathroom break.
Thank
We've
you.
been in here quite a while. So you're going to be taking what's called a directed lie polygraph. So what that means is there are going to be questions on the test where I want you to lie. I know it seems kind of weird, but you're going to know which questions these are, and they're going to be easy to answer. They're all going to start with before 2018.
The directed lie test.
Unaware. Pump Kai Fun with the 100. Yo, y'all been absolutely going crazy all day. 577 is right there. Pump Kai Fun with the 100 goddamn gifted. Appreciate it, Gango. Thank you. 100 goddamn gifted. Hold on. We're gonna get through this video. Chat. 100 gifted, dude.
Test has 3 types of
What?
questions. Known truth questions. These are easy questions to answer, such as, are you sitting down? Or, are you wearing shoes?
Thank you, bro.
They serve 2 purposes. The first purpose is to provide a baseline reading for when the subject is telling the truth, and should elicit very little bodily responses. The second purpose is to disconnect the examinee's thought patterns between each question as a means for resetting their cerebration for a more accurate reading. Control questions. These are what the polygrapher just explained to Chris. Whenever she says, before 2018, at the start of a question, Chris will know he is purposely supposed to lie. Each of these questions are deliberately constructed that all answers will be responded with no. Relevant questions. These relate specifically to the crime being investigated, and the examinee will know that they are supposed to respond truthfully. A guilty subject will show a much stronger reaction to the relevant questions than to the control questions, even though they will be lying on both of them. This is due to the immediate threat posed by the relevant questions.
So I'm going to say before 2018, did you ever lose your temper with someone you cared about? And you're going to say,
no.
because you're telling a
Lie.
Awesome. The test is about to begin. Please remain still.
Oh my God.
Did you write the number 1?
No.
Did you write the number 3?
No.
Did you write the number 5?
No.
This portion of the test is complete.
gosh.
Please remain still while I take the instrument out of operation. You can relax. How'd you feel?
This is the last time the polygrapher will have any correspondence with Chris before the real test begins. She gives him an initial compliment in a reassuring tone.
No way. Pump Kai Fun with the 100. Gifted again. Another 100. We are at 577, dude. 23,000 away from 600K. With 4 days left, chat. Pump Kai Fun with the 100 gifted. Thank you so much, bro. Everybody say W Pump Guy. OVO Angelo with the 10 gifted. Pump Kai Fun, thank you so much. She's almost here, chat. She's almost here. Oh my gosh. W's. Pump Kai, thank you so much for the 100 gifted, you beautiful. W's. 25.
You did great.
OVO, thank you.
You remembered to lie and everything.
Lock in,
That
chat,
was
lock in.
awesome.
Wait, everybody lock in, everybody lock in.
This momentary boost in his confidence is then abruptly ripped away as he receives the following information.
So, you obviously are a really bad liar. Have people told you that before? Like, the second you tell a lie, like, they can tell, like, on your face that... Because the second you lied to the number 3, like, I don't know if you heard me clicking, but I had, like, turned down the sensitivity because you were starting to go off the page. So, that is what I need to see as a polygrapher, because that tells me that you know it's wrong to tell a lie. And you're actually having a significant reaction when you lie, so that is awesome. So thank you for being a horrible
Okay,
liar. No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We don't want to be good liars, so thank you for being a horrible liar. And that just shows me that, you know, obviously on the test when they're asking, you know, significant stuff about your wife, if you're lying to that, it's going to be even 10 times more amplified. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, more than you know. So that was awesome. And the coolest thing about this is right now, there's only one person in this room that knows what the truth is. And in about 5 minutes, there's going to be 2 of us. So that's the coolest part, okay? And then I can go share that with them out there, okay?
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Oh my God.
Do it.
The test is about to begin. Please remain
Oh my God.
still. Do you understand I will only ask you the questions we have discussed?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Regarding Shanann's disappearance, do you intend to answer all of the questions truthfully?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Is your first name Christopher?
Yes.
Before 2018, did you ever lose your temper with someone you cared about?
No.
Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance?
No.
Were you born in 1985?
Yes.
Before 2018, did you ever say anything out of anger to a loved one?
No.
Are you lying about the last time you saw Shanann?
No.
Oh my God.
Are you now in the state of Colorado?
Yes.
Before 2018, have you ever wanted to hurt someone to get even with them?
Oh my
No.
God.
Do you know where Shanann is now?
No.
Oh my God.
This portion of the test is complete. Please remain still while I take the instrument out of operation. All right, how'd you feel? Same as all of it?
I think it was the same through everything.
For ya. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I did forget part of it, didn't I?
Oh my gosh.
So I brought Graham in here because we want to talk to you about the results, okay?
Okay.
Oh my
So, it is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to talk about what actually happened. And I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise.
Chris,
I know.
Chris, stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
Oh my gosh! Chat, keep in mind when she gets here, we might have to pause it and save it to after, which is amazing, which is good.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise.
Chris,
I know.
Chris, stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
Oh my gosh.
There's a reason you feel sick to your stomach. And when people hold stuff inside, it makes you physically ill. And I can just tell on your face, I could tell from the second you walked in that you were wanting to just come clean and just be done with this.
This is a technique known as social exchange, an interpersonal persuasion strategy in which the interrogator provides the suspect with a psychological reward in return for the information they need. In this case, she's trying to convince Chris that the alleviation of mental weight is a worthy trade for a confession. She does this in a manner that protects his self-esteem by giving him appreciative reinforcements.
And I appreciate that because you knew sitting down in that chair that you weren't going to pass today. And you knew I was going to find out because I told you that. And then you continued to stay knowing that you could, at the end, say, you know what? Let me get this off my chest.
Everything that I have told you, I did not lie on this polygraph. I don't know how much I could tell you right now. Like, I did not.
It's not even an option right now because you did not pass the polygraph. So I know you were being deceptive. So that's not even an issue.
Pump guy!
The issue right now is what happened to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste.
The following tactic is called the futility technique, a building block to induce a sense in a suspect that any resistance on behalf of their cause is futile due to the overwhelming evidence against them. This was obviously not the case, as polygraphs are not admissible evidence, and Chris was in fact still free to leave at this point.
That's the issue right now.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I know you want to tell us. I can see it in your face. Holding this lie in is going to do nothing for you.
I know this. Like, okay. I'm not, like, trying to, like, cover things up, like...
Yeah, but you kind of are, because it's normal.
This is no longer an interview to collect information. The steps of asking questions and receiving answers is over, and the interrogators are now in the process of leading the suspect into a state of mental exhaustion.
Sheesh.
The detectives will attentively watch for denials and stop them before they can be voiced. Letting the suspect deny his guilt will only increase his confidence and prolong his cerebral stamina.
Normal people would do that. Normal people that make a mistake initially are going to go, I don't know what you're talking about, I didn't do anything. That's normal. I would expect that. That's a natural reaction that someone's going to initially lie about something like that and then eventually tell the truth. So this is your eventually telling the truth time. This is where the rubber meets the road, Chris. Like, don't let this continue any longer, please.
I'm not trying to make anything continue. Like, I want them back home, like...
But you know they're not coming back home. You know that.
I don't know in the back of my head. I hope they come back home.
But you know they're not.
Chris, Tammy and I are confused, okay? And here's what we're confused about. I told you that we've done some work overnight.
Yeah.
I told you that we've got a lot of leads, okay? That wasn't a lie. We know a lot more than you think we do, okay?
The dossier technique is a variant of the futility technique, the only difference being that the detectives are far more cryptic and often deceptive about the evidence they have. This will hint at things in a vague manner for the purpose of escalating a suspect's uncertainty.
So this is a 48, right?
I don't know.
Are they lying?
Honestly, I do not know where they are at. If I could have my babies back home right now, I would. I want them back. I want everybody back. That is the God's honest truth.
Although the detectives want to intensify Chris's psychological stress levels, they do not want him to become reactively agitated, as this could lead him to objecting and resisting every step of the way, and the interrogation will never get off the ground. It also significantly increases the chances of him requesting legal counsel and ending the interrogation outright. This elicits the interrogator to change approach and utilize what is known as the ego-up technique, where the detective will build on the self-respect of the suspect through positive reinforcement.
It is very surprising to me, and it warms my heart that you're the type of dad who can pack a bag in the morning, and you know just what to put in there. You know just what to put in there as a backup in case they have an accident, okay? You know what the clothes to put in there. You know what they have for breakfast. You know what they have for a snack and a dinner and a nighttime snack. You can tell me the book you read to your daughters, okay? I know you love them, but you weren't here today lying about something else. So we need to talk about that, okay? I cheated on her. I know. And this is very good.
I saw her, took my breath away, and I never thought in a million years that could happen.
I know.
I never felt that way about anybody in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not proud of it. She accused me of it. I denied it.
I just know, bro. You got that. Nigga said I saw her, took my breath away. Chat, when you put that ring on that finger, that's all you gotta take your time. Cause when you put that ring on that finger, chat, be ready, nigga.
I cheated on her, and I feel horrible for it. Like, she was pregnant, and it was. I don't want to. I didn't hurt her.
You're doing a good job.
But he didn't want the kid?
I knew would come out today. This is the Chris who tells the truth, because you're a truth teller. I don't think this girl did anything to hurt anybody. We're gonna leave her out of it.
Okay.
Get back to your wife and your daughters.
Okay.
Where are they?
That I do not know. That was what I was holding back. Like, I didn't know, like, what I did. I know.
Chris, in the interview today, you weren't asked about infidelity. You were asked about...
I was holding back from last night.
That's
when
not
you
why
talked.
you failed today.
That's not how that works.
Here's the challenge that we have. We knew about Nikki, and so we didn't need to ask you about her in the polygraph. We just didn't need to, because we knew, okay? And so that's why we didn't ask you, because we already knew the answer, okay? We're very, very worried about your daughters and your wife.
I am too.
This should have been the happiest time of your marriage, okay? You and Cenat. This should have been the happiest time. She's making a little money. She's making good money. You're making great money. You both have a job. You have beautiful kids. You have a beautiful house. You're in Colorado. Clean air, good people. Okay? And on top of that, you look pretty good now. You're pretty fit. Okay? This should have been a time in your marriage where you guys were happy and thriving and productive. Okay? And I believe that Cenat's the reason none of that happened.
This is called the how and why solution, a technique that allows the suspect to admit a lesser act and blame the victims, while at the same time minimizing the crime and motivations of his actions.
I believe that she's a controlling person. Maybe doesn't listen to you as much as she should. I think that she can do whatever she wants and you can't. Okay? I think if you were to go to a restaurant, she would order whatever the hell she wants. And as soon as you order a nice steak, she says, whoa, buddy. That's because you're a good person. And I think that she started on the path to leave the marriage. Okay? It's ironic that we're talking about you and Nikki.
GG's.
I think that she was the one who started on that path first. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't have thought about
Okay. And the other thing I think is interesting is, even though she is that type of person that's controlling, doesn't listen, does what she wants, is walking away from her kids, here you are defending her. Because to your core, you want to take care of the people you love. Okay. And that's the reason why we want to give you an opportunity today to just help us find them. Okay? Chris, right now your dad's outside. He flew across the country to help you. Okay? You're lying to him. You're lied to everyone you talk to. And they all bought it. Will you please help us find your babies?
I want to find them. I've told you over and over, I want to find them.
Mods, why do y'all keep unpinning it? Is there a time limit? God damn, nigga.
Everyone.
Can you understand that some of this just doesn't make sense to us? How is it possible that a woman and 2 kids are just completely gone off the face of the earth?
I promise you, I have nothing on my hands I did nothing.
It says she's 5 minutes away.
For her to make them vanish.
As the interrogation goes on, the constant and relentless psychological pressure essentially puts Chris at the edge of his ability to function cognitively. It's a slow and methodical process of breaking down his resistance while maintaining a balance of pugnacious and reassuring psychological techniques.
I just find it hard to hear you talk about just having this emotional, conversation with Cenat, and you're bawling and crying together, and you have not shed one tear in 2 days that you've been here. Not one. And help me understand that, because I don't get it. These are your baby girls. And you have not shed one tear over them not being around. Chris, I lose my 4-year-old in the store.
Slump God with a 10. Thank you so much, Slump God.
I start to go panic. I have not seen any of that from you at all. Help me understand that.
I love those girls. I would never do any of this because I haven't shed a tear. You get
no, that's weird. Is that weird?
Don't look into that like I don't love my kids.
Tell me,
explain
to me. You're crying with your wife that you're leaving her.
Yeah.
But You don't cry that your two little baby girls
I'm hoping they're still around somewhere. I'm hoping they're still somewhere.
In the next moments, you will see step 7 of the Reed interrogation technique.
Ah,
The alternative question.
Oh, you
where
got-
the suspect is given an
banned.
alternative and far
GG's.
more morally acceptable choice for what happened.
Pin Taxi Red.
Can do something
Damn,
to them?
it was fake.
I don't know.
I'm serious.
I have no clue.
No, you would have known, because they didn't leave the house.
Like, when,
Did
what-
Shanann do something to them, and then did you feel like you had to do something to Shanann?
They were at the house when I left. They were there.
They weren't there. They didn't leave. They vanished.
They were
The
there.
only way they could have left is in your truck.
Did Shanann do something?
Something happened in the house that you know about. We know that something happened to all three of them. But I want to know, did something happen to these baby girls first that you had to take into your own hands and deal with?
You had to clean it up for Shanann.
Chris, you gotta tell us.
The Bitcoin.
There's something
The Bitcoin Classic. Appreciate the 10 gift. Appreciate it.
that happened to these baby girls. Look at them.
I know. Before he came in, I was watching videos.
We have no doubt you love these girls with all of your heart. I have no doubt. But we make mistakes.
That's okay.
It's what we do with those mistakes that make us who we are.
Chris, it seems like you're thinking about it right now. What are you thinking about?
Abandoned with the 5.
I feel like you cleaned up for her. I feel like that's the type of guy that you are.
Chris, this is a weight that's going to be on you for the rest of your life until we resolve it tonight. Unless we can talk about this more tonight.
Is emotional with the
it's gonna follow
5.
you forever. I promise you, when you start talking to us, you will feel better.
Chris, we're giving you a lifeline right now. You need to take it. You need to reach out and take it. Chris, you took them out of the house with their blankets and their animals. And that's because you cared. That's what a caring dad does. And you either cleaned up after Shanann or you made the mistake. And I mean, I want to believe that maybe Shanann did it and you felt compelled to fix this so Shanann didn't look bad. That's what I want to believe. But I don't know, you're not telling me that, so it makes me think the worst. Like, did you
I
do
did not
that
do
to
anything.
all three of them?
I did
Like,
not do anything with these kids. Not do anything.
what did Shanann do to them? Tell us, Chris. Chicks are crazy.
Can I talk to my dad or something?
Absolutely.
Come.
Do you want to bring him in here?
No.
Cannot. He wants to talk to his dad, chat. To say what though? Okay, so basically, this sick killed his wife and he killed his children. Are y'all following me? Chris Watts killed his wife and he killed his children. And he cheated on his wife because she got mad and wanted to leave him. So he killed the babies, and his wife was pregnant and killed her. It's up, Al Chris.
I feel like you cleaned up for her. I feel like that's the type of guy that you are.
Chris, this is a weight that's going to be on you for the rest of your life until we resolve it tonight. Unless we can talk about this more tonight, it's going to follow you forever. I promise you, when you start talking to us, you will feel better.
Chris, we're giving you a lifeline right now. You need to take it. You need to reach out and take it. Chris, you took them out of the house with their blankets and their animals. And that's because you cared. That's what a caring dad does. And you either cleaned up after Shanann or you made the mistake. And I mean, I want to believe that maybe Shanann did it and you felt compelled to fix this so Shanann didn't look bad. That's what I want to believe. But I don't know, you're not telling me that, so it makes me think the worst. Like,
Did you? I did not do anything.
All three of them?
I did
Like,
not do anything to these kids. Not do anything.
what did Cenat do to them? Tell us, Chris. Chicks are crazy.
Can I talk to my dad or something? Absolutely. Do
I want to get dad. Okay, let me hear what you got to say.
you want to bring him in here?
No, I just can't talk to my dad. Like, I flew across the country.
Hey, Chris, how about this? If we brought your dad in here, would you please tell him what happened?
And you need to realize that your dad is not going to stop loving you no matter what you tell him. You are his child, and he will not stop loving you.
Never.
Ever.
And this is not the last chapter in anyone's story. At all. Okay. Hey, Chris, we're going to let you have however much time you need, okay?
Sure. You gonna leave us in there or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell us how long or...
And it's, polygraph. Failed it. Yeah, because there's
Too much emotions.
Anything else you want to tell me? What's going on, or what happened, or anything? You know anything about?
when we had that conversation that morning,
What's what?
it was emotional and
Uh-huh.
told her about separation and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What happened after that?
I mean, I went downstairs. I don't want to protect her.
What?
I don't want to protect her.
You don't want to protect her?
I don't know what else to say.
What happened?
He said he's no pretender? He said he's no pretender, or he doesn't want to pretend, or he wants to... What?
What else to say?
Protect her.
She hurt him.
She hurt them. Now he put on a double lie. Well, you in trouble. Because let's just say you lying. You knew about it. So your ass still in trouble.
And well, no, tell her.
You're her.
Oh! PYT Jasmine with the 5. Get to appreciate it, PYT Jasmine.
And well, no.
She hurt them.
She hurt him.
Yeah.
And well, no, tell her.
You're her.
Hear what he wants to hear.
One. She smelled it. Or choking.
I didn't hear anything. When I was downstairs, they came back up. They were gone. Talking to her about separation and everything, about
She lost her.
I don't know.
He's such a badass liar. Sammy with the 10 gift, appreciate it. This is such a badass liar, bro. Like, your shit not even making sense, no. When you went downstairs, came back upstairs, they were just gone. What the are you talking about? You understand?
Like, what else to say? Like, I freaked out. Those are my kids. I heard like a little commotion upstairs, but I didn't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm. And then you went back upstairs and she was...
I could see, like, she was on top.
Choking her.
Oh my God.
They're blue. Oh, yeah. She took both of them with that. I freaked out in the champagne.
That's heavy. As a dad, hearing a lie like that. Now let's say you in a dad position and you hear some shit like that. That's heavy. Yo.
Yeah, I'm like, see what we can do. Make the range.
What's that?
Less than 10 seconds after the mention of the word lawyer, the detectives re-enter the room and immediately reinforce Chris with non-verbal empathic communication. They immediately divert Chris's attention from the well-informed advice of his father to their own appreciative reception of his contemporary admittance.
Chris, help us work through this with you, okay? Will you tell us what you told your dad?
She was in there with her. On top of her. Freaked out. I ran in there and got on top of her.
What'd you do?
She flew. Those are my babies. Those are my kids.
What happened?
Yo, he's lying. He's lying.
Although not the full avowal they are pursuing, Chris has still confessed partly to the crimes, and they now have one foot in the door. He is no longer free to leave. The interrogation now returns to a non-suggestive process, where the detectives will collect further information, where they will not contaminate with excessive or direct input.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm shaking. Both my kids are blue and they're gone. So horrible for what I did. I don't know what to do.
Yo, blaming her,
Bro.
bro.
We left. Can you tell us where they're at?
You have to keep them out of the cold. At that first location I went to that day. I don't know what to do.
I know.
I didn't know what to fucking do. Like none of this made sense. Why would she hit my girls? I'm sorry. I know.
I know you are. I know you came in today to do the right thing.
You know what's crazy? The detectives are not even buying that shit, chat. The detectives not even buying that shit. They just feeding him into it so he gets a little bit more thing. Cause the more he talks, chat, the more he talks, the more room he has for his stories to be different.
Where'd you put him? Put him out there.
In the truck.
Did your man fight back at all? When you did that?
The rage that I had after seeing that, not much. I didn't know what else to do.
I know, so tell me what you did. I know.
I didn't know what else to do. I was so scared.
I know.
It's like my wife just did this, and I just did that. What do I do?
Right.
You were in a tough spot. I mean, what can you do, right?
Sometimes your body just kind of takes over and...
Well, do they... I don't want to get y'all to spoil it. I don't want y'all to spoil it, but did they find out he's lying?
Chris, I know they're gone, but they're still your babies, and you're still their dad.
You don't want to go there.
I don't want to.
Oh my
You don't
gosh.
want
Oh
someone
my
else to
fucking
find you
god.
out there. You don't, I promise you. You give us a second so we can kind of get some...
Oh my god.
Can you do that?
What the fuck is this? This is just fucking horrible. I've always said she was an unstable person, but I never thought that in a million years that could happen. She just lost it. So why did this happen to me? Well, why did this happen to those two little girls?
Yo, this nigga.
This ain't gonna be on the news anytime soon, or is it?
No, not tonight.
Not tonight. Ashlyn with the
Whereabouts?
fucking 5 get depreciated.
The Shanann and the girls.
Shenanigans.
Is that S for Shanann? Okay. And where are the girls at?
Here.
In these? So, how did you do this route? I'm assuming that's under dirt. How did you take that?
So I show on that my truck is still with it. So it sounds like, it feels like to me, now we know pretty well how to go get them. Is there anything else we need to know?
Oh my god.
What do you think of that, Chris?
Oh my god. W pressure.
Let my family down. Let my dad down, let my mom, sister, nephew, nieces, friends, co-workers.
Daughters.
Can I ask you another tough question? You just
He
get it
didn't
all
even
on
say
the table?
daughters. He didn't even say kids.
When you see
He didn't even say
Shanann
kids. He
choking
didn't even say kids, bro. He didn't
blood
say it, bro.
and you get her off of Celeste, did you think about calling an ambulance?
I see you laying there blue and limp. I've never seen something like that in my life. She just lay over, nothing she wasn't moving at all, no gasp of breath. She was totally just blue.
After the baseline information of Chris's version of events is gathered, he is now locked into an alibi and timeline of affairs that forensics will subsequently examine and dissect in ways so they can use it against him. The tone of the interrogation then reverts back from information gathering to a confrontational nature.
So Chris, you're doing this job for a long time.
I know.
I know a lot about psychology and as far as what people are thinking.
Oh my
Most
gosh.
parents will never even want to fathom that their kid is dead. Even if their kid's stiff, blue in bed, stiff been dead all night, they still call an ambulance to see if someone can revive their child.
Oh my gosh.
And when the ambulance gets there and they're like, gosh, they're
Niggas is doing that with animals. So let alone so think about that with a kid. They're a kid. Niggas is doing that with hamsters. Niggas is doing that with fish.
call an ambulance to see if someone can revive their child. And when the ambulance gets there,
Don't play with their dog and their cats.
their kid's been dead all night. There's nothing.
So let
we
alone
can
a
do.
kid.
Why are you not doing something? What are you talking about? So that's what we're used to. So that's why I want you to explain to me what was going on in your head and
The rage that I felt for what she did, it just took over.
I would hate for Shanann to get a bad rap if she didn't have anything to do with it. It's not fair.
I know.
It's not fair.
There is no technical term for this approach, yet it's a clear attempt by the detective to interconnect to the suspect's sense of morality, which is always under the assumption that they have any.
Enough bad stuff has happened.
Well,
We need to stop the bad stuff from happening. So, you want to tell us the truth?
that
What happened?
is true.
So you're good with the public knowing that Shanann killed her daughters?
I did not hurt these girls.
Are you okay with the public knowing that Shanann?
Yes, because I did not hurt these girls. Chris, I'm not sure what to do.
Are you sure Shanann didn't catch you in Celeste?
No, my God, no. Don't get mad. But what it looks like is that
you found a new life, and the only way to get that new life was to get rid of the old life.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is cooking. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, that is cooking, dude. Yo, these is some good. Shout out to the lady on the left. She's a good detective. Bro, she is a good. Bro, goddamn, bro. Oh my gosh.
And I think that you killed these girls.
Drewski and Kev will be
before they
here
walked
in
home
an
and
hour.
killed Cenat.
And I'll restart VOD in an hour.
And that's what we're kind of left, that's what we have to believe, because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, to her point, if I walked in and my kid was decapitated.
VN, thanks to the 5, appreciate it.
Right.
T minus 1
There's
hour.
no hope.
It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up. So either you're this monster who says, I just want this young, hot girlfriend, so I'm going to kill everyone and hope it works out, or something. So I think we're very, very close to the truth, but not quite there yet. So if you're not that monster,
I'm not a monster.
Yay, drop.
so what's going to happen when their cause of death comes back to you, for the girls?
It's not going to.
Okay. You sure?
I'm 100% positive it's not going to come back to me.
And what happens when a coroner looks and says, sees your fingerprints on their neck?
It's not going to be my fingerprints.
Okay. What is it going to be?
It's going to be Cenat.
Why take their bodies out of the house and bury them?
I was scared. I didn't know what else to do.
Okay.
Nothing.
Bro, oh my God, he's cooking. This nigga's a badass liar. You're 100% calling the ambulance, bro. 100%. As a parent, you're 100%. No matter, bro, what, yo, you're 100% for the kids, You're 100% still gonna call it, like, stop, bro.
Nothing was gonna. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what to do.
Scared of what?
Scared of what everything was gonna look like. My 2 babies were gone,
Mm-hmm.
and I just did that to my wife. And I was the only one left in the house. What do you expect is gonna happen?
Yeah. It did look bad, right?
And look, I mean, this was a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for all the subs, guys. Thank you so much for the subs.
Yesterday when you were talking, and again, this is before we kind of got to this moment today, you mentioned that we were talking, I don't know where they are, and then you said something along the lines of, whatever happened to them, this act of pure evil. What does that mean?
It's this the evil that I saw when I walked behind Cenat and she was on top of CC. And then I felt evil for what I did to Cenat.
Okay. So after we look at their bodies, we're gonna have a lot more questions. Things are gonna be different then, but if you're willing, we'd love to talk to you then too. Now that we know what we know, we're going to, I need to check that you don't have any weapons on you or anything like that. Do you have any weapons on you? Okay. We'll do that. We'll go to the bathroom. I'm not gonna go in the stall with you, but I'm gonna go with you. And then we'll come right back here and we'll make a decision about how the rest of the night goes. All right, Shelley, you might stand it up so I can check.
Does he admit it? Bro.
This interrogation was a true testimony of how mental fatigue can restructure an individual's cognitive rationale. Chris maintained his innocence even after the failed polygraph, and if he had kept that stance, he would have walked out of that police department as a free man for at least another night. Yet, after a prolonged state of isolation, anxiety, and fear, coupled with the cerebral influencing tactics of the interrogators, the alleviation of getting out of that situation was in that moment perceived as enough of a luxury to exchange his freedom for it.
Chris, stand up for me. I'm going to have you face that wall. Lift up your hands.
Oh my God. And he's finished.
You would like to make on behalf of the prosecution.
Yes, please. Your Honor, there are no words to adequately describe the unimaginable tragedy that brings us before this court today. By my comments, I'm not even going to try to express the horror, the pain, or the suffering that the defendant has caused to these families, to this community, and to all who were a part of this investigation. However, I do want to spend a few minutes sharing with the court the details of the crime, as so far you've only had an opportunity to review the affidavit and a few facts here and there that have been offered to the court in the motions and pleadings that have been filed. The questions that have screamed out to anyone who will listen since August 13th of 2018 are why and how. Why did this have to happen? How could a seemingly normal husband and father annihilate his entire family? For what? These are the questions that only one individual in this courtroom or on this planet knows the answers to. I fully expect we will not receive the answers to these questions today, nor will we at any point in the future. I don't expect that he will ever tell the truth about what truly happened or why.
Breathe the file, could appreciate it.
There's no rational way that any human being could find those answers acceptable responses to such horrific questions. The best we can do is try to piece together some kind of understanding from the evidence that is available to us. And the evidence tells us this. The defendant coldly and deliberately ended 4 lives. Not in a fit of rage, not by way of accident, but in a calculated and sickening manner. Cenat was 34 years old.
Wow.
She had married the defendant in November of 2012.
Wow.
Over the weekend leading up to August 13th, she had been at a work conference in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
And returned home in the early morning hours of August 13th.
Wow.
We know that she got home about 1:45 in the morning. The doorbell camera on their home shows her arriving back home from the airport.
Wow.
Shortly thereafter, at least according to the defendant, they had what he referred to as an emotional conversation about the state of their marriage and about what their lives would look like going forward. What was said during that emotional conversation, only he knows. What we do know is that shortly after that, the defendant strangled her to death with his own hands. We know that he slowly took her life the morning of August 13th. We know that this was not done in an uncontrolled, vengeful manner that he tried to describe to agents from CBI and the FBI. If that were the case, you would expect to see vicious, horrible bruising about her neck, shoulders, and face. You would expect to see the hyoid bone in her neck broken. You would expect to see some kind of defensive wounds on his body as she struggled and fought for her own life. None of those are present. The only injuries that were on Cenat's body were one set of finger or bruising, what appeared to be fingernail or finger mark bruising to the right side of her neck. We know that our experts will tell us that it takes 2 to 4 minutes to strangle someone to death manually with their own hands. The horror that she felt as the man that she loved wrapped his hands around her throat and choked the life out of her must have been unimaginable. Even worse, what must Bella, age 4, and Celeste, age 3, must have experienced or thought as their father, the one man on this planet who was supposed to nurture and protect them, was snuffing out their lives.
They both died from smothering. Let me say that again. The man seated to my right smothered his daughters. Why? Imagine the horror in Bella's mind as her father took her last breaths away.
Bro.
Your Honor, understand very clearly, Bella fought back for her life. The frenulum, the connective tissue between her upper lip and her gum, had a centimeter and a half laceration. She bit her tongue multiple times before she died. She fought back for her life as her father smothered her. Celeste had no such injuries. In fact, she had no external injuries at all. But according to the medical examiner, she was smothered nonetheless. The defendant then methodically and calmly loaded their bodies into his work truck, not in a hasty or disorganized way. He was seen from the neighbor's doorbell camera backing his truck into the driveway, going back and forth into the house and back out to the truck 3 different times, 1 time for each of their bodies. He then drove them away from their family home one final time, intent on hiding any evidence of the crimes that he had just committed. In one final sign of callousness for his wife, his daughters, and their unborn son, and their remains, he drove them to a location that he thought no one would ever find them, to one of the oil tank batteries with which he was so familiar. He knew this was safe. He had texted a coworker the night before saying, "I'll head out to that site. I'll take care of it." He had carefully ensured that he would be alone in the middle of the plains to secrete away the remains of his family in a place that he hoped they would never be found. In one final measure of disrespect for the family he once had, he ensured that they would not be together, even in death, or so he thought. He disposed of them in different locations. He buried Cenat and Nico in a shallow grave away from the oil tanks. Bella and Celeste were thrown away in the oil tanks at this facility. Different tanks, so these little girls wouldn't be together in death. Imagine this, Your Honor. This defendant took those little girls and put them through a hatch at the top of an oil tank.
Bro.
8 inches in diameter. Bella had scratches on her left buttocks from being shoved through this hole. A tuft of blonde hair was found on the edge of one of these hatches. The defendant told investigators that Bella's tank seemed emptier than CC's because of the sound
psychotic
that the splashes made. These were his daughters. Significantly, when his co-workers arrived at the tank battery later that morning, to a person, they all described him as acting completely normally. It was a normal workday, even while his daughters sank in the oil and water not far away from him. And then his efforts at deception truly began. We've all seen the emotionless interviews that the defendant gives to the local media asking for help in locating his family. We watched as he claimed that the house was empty without them, and that he hoped that they were somewhere safe, and that he just wanted them to come home. He told investigators that they were at home sleeping when he left for work that morning, and that Cenat had told him that she was taking the girls to a friend's house for the day. What is striking about this case, Your Honor, beyond the horrors that I've already described to you, is the number of collateral victims that he created by his actions. While he stood in front of TV cameras asking for the safe return of his family, scores of law enforcement officers, neighbors, friends, and family scoured the area.
Damn.
Fretted for their safe return. They texted him begging for any information and sending him their best wishes, all the while he hid what he had done. The list of indirect victims does not end there. Think of the firefighters and the Colorado State Patrol hazmat experts who had to don protective suits and who were called upon to pull Bella and Celeste out of those oil tanks. Or the coroner employees who had to conduct these autopsies.
That's the dad, right?
or the victim assistants
That's
who
his dad?
frantically attempted to ease the suffering of those affected. All of this, Your Honor, for what? Why? Why did this have to happen? His motive was simple, Your Honor. He had a desire for a fresh
Oh, this her dad? Oh my.
start. To begin a relationship with a new love that overpowered all decency and feelings for his wife, his daughters, and unborn son. While Cenat texted the defendant over and over again in the days and weeks leading up to her death, attempting to save her marriage, the defendant secreted pictures of his girlfriend into his phone and searched and texted her at all hours of the night. While Cenat sent the defendant self-help and relationship counseling books, one of which, ironically enough, was thrown in the garbage. He was searching the internet for secluded vacation spots to take his new love in researching jewelry. And while Cenat took the girls to visit family in North Carolina, the defendant went to car museums and the sand dunes with his new girlfriend. The stark contrast between the subjects of their internet and text content is absolutely stunning. Even the morning after he killed them and disposed of their bodies, he made several phone calls. One was to the school where the girls were supposed to start, telling the school that the girls would not be coming to school anymore, that they were being unenrolled, presumably to give him some more time before law enforcement notification about them going missing. He contacted a realtor to start discussing the selling of his house.
Oh my God.
And he texted with his girlfriend about their future.
Oh my God.
None of this answers the questions of why, however. If he was this happy and wanted a new start, get a divorce.
Tammy with the 5.
You don't annihilate your family and throw them away like garbage. Why did Nico, Celeste, Bella, and Cenat have to lose their lives in order for him to get what he wanted? Your Honor, justice demands the maximum sentence under the agreement reached by the parties. As you will recall, the agreement calls for life sentences as to Cenat, Bella, and Celeste, and all of those to run consecutively to one another. It also calls for the count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy as to Nico to run consecutively to counts 1, 2, and 3. I would suggest that the extreme aggravation present in the defendant's conduct and in the efforts that I have described mandate that the sentences for counts 7, 8, and 9, the tampering with a deceased human body, each be the maximum of 12 years, and that those sentences run consecutively to one another. It is very clear that each of these acts, that these were not the subject of one act, but each oil tank that he walked up with his daughter's bodies and the hole that he dug for his wife and unborn son mandate a mandatory consecutive sentence. It's been alluded to this morning, but the defendant was certainly eligible for the death penalty in this case under the existing law in the state of Colorado. As you heard, Cenat's family strongly opposed my office seeking the death penalty and being bound to the criminal justice system for the next several decades. That's in large part, as you've heard, why we have reached the agreement that we have. 4 lives were lost at the hands of the defendant on August 13th for reasons that we will never fully understand, nor will we know. In the end, the Rusick family was much more merciful towards him than he was towards his wife, his daughters, and his unborn son. Prison for the remainder of his life is exactly where he belongs for murdering his entire family. Thank you.
Are you seeking 91 days to file a request for restitution?
I am, Your Honor, please.
So the court has considered the arguments made by the attorneys. The court has considered the statements made by the victims in this case. The court's going to find that the plea agreement is fair and reasonable under the circumstances. I want to acknowledge the Rusick family as well as the Watts family that showing mercy on Mr. Watts is understood, and I respect that decision to request that the district attorney not seek the death penalty in this case. And so the court is going to accept this plea bargain under the circumstances. Words that come to mind when I hear the evidence in this case are a senseless crime and the viciousness of the crime. And equally aggravating in this court's determination is the despicable act of disposing of the bodies in the manner in which they were done in this case. I've been a judicial officer now for starting my 17th year, and I could objectively say that this is perhaps the most inhumane and vicious crime that I have handled out of the thousands of cases that I have seen. And nothing less than a maximum sentence would be appropriate, and anything less than the maximum sentence would depreciate the seriousness of this offense. So the court is going to sentence Mr. Watts as follows. With regard to count number 1, murder in the first degree as it relates to Cenat Watts, the court is going to sentence you, sir, to a life sentence in the Colorado Department of Corrections, followed with no possibility of parole. And that is going to run consecutively to all but counts 3 and 4. With regard to count 2, as it relates to murder in the first degree with Bella, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole. With regard to count number 3, the court is going to sentence you as it relates to Celeste to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole.
Nigga got life, and after that life, he got life again? And after that life, he got life again? God damn, nigga, was it worth it, nigga?
With regard to counts 4 and 5 relating to Bella and Celeste as a different theory of first-degree murder, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections.
All for another girl and to restart your life. That is crazy to me. You have a wife, you have kids, you have a nice house.
And legally, those sentences must run concurrently as a different theory of first-degree murder. Recognizing the unlawful termination of pregnancy for the unborn child that has been named Nico, the court absolutely believes that the maximum sentence of 48 years would be appropriate to run consecutive to the other charges, with an additional mandatory parole period of 3 years as set forth by statute. With regard to count number 7, as it relates to tampering with a deceased body, as well as counts 8 and 9, each a class 3 felony, the court is going to impose a maximum sentence of 12 years each for those counts to run consecutively to the other counts.
It's over.
The court is going to order that the statutory fees be paid and court costs. The court's going to grant the prosecution 91 days to file a notice of restitution, and that will be the sentence of the court. We will shortly be in recess. I would respectfully ask the parties that you remain in your seat. There is a plan by the deputies on allowing people to exit the courtroom, so please remain seated until you are authorized to leave the courtroom based on the direction of the deputies. Deputies, I would respectfully ask that you take this defendant into custody and have him serve the rest of his life in the Department of Corrections. We are in recess.
Please rise.
Oh my gosh, chat. Like, dude, like, bro, a lot of the that be doing in this world ain't worth it, dude. It ain't, bro. RP. Oh my gosh, RP, bro.